Hello guys, Dividend Enjoyer here, and today I'm doing a video about Energy Transfer, ticker symbol ET, and whether or not I think that the stock is undervalued. Now, before we start, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button. We need to get to a freaking thousand, please. I want to get to 1,000 subs. I want to start making it rain. I want to, have my videos get a lot of watch time. So please do that. Help me out. All right, ad read over. Energy Transfer. I think it's probably undervalued here unless they've taken on a lot more debt, and I think there are a lot of reasons for that. One of the reasons is that these assets are very inflationary proof, meaning that they are very big physical assets. These are pipelines under the ground that move natural gas for a sort of toll. Okay, so if the overall demand for natural gas is higher, then they can charge higher prices to be able to transport more of it because they can charge a fee on having to transport that. And when all of these big players, like these big multi-gajillion dollar companies, are coming in and saying, we want to train our AI to make Will Smith eating spaghetti or something, then that's really good for you if you're supplying natural gas to these people that basically have unlimited money, right? I think that Energy Transfer is probably a good buy here. I think that it's a very strong stock. I think that it has a strong dividend, but I don't think you should be just buying a stock only for the dividend. A lot of people make that mistake where they'll say, oh, it has a big dividend, so that must be a really good thing, right? When in reality, a dividend is just an amount that they give you because they don't know how to reinvest that into the business to make more money than it's worth now. So companies like Amazon don't pay a dividend, and the reason for that is they believe that they can take those retained earnings, those dollars that they could be giving to the shareholders, and if they put it into other things, it'll increase the cash flows more and increase the overall value of the business. Or they can do share buybacks, but they just don't believe in the dividend because the dividend also causes a tax burden to people who are very wealthy. Because those very wealthy people will borrow against the shares that they have, so then they don't have to pay taxes. But talking about Energy Transfer, it does have a very high good dividend. I really liked receiving the dividend, but it does have a certain tax form because it's not technically a stock. It's like I think it's a limited partnership that you have to file a bunch of other tax things. It's a big pain in the ass. It's not worth it, in my opinion, to own the stock. Energy Transfer, though, I think long-term is going to do very well. I think that these LPs are going to do well. I think that Trump and Canada are going to figure it out. They're going to be fine. It just needs a little bit of time to get better, that relationship. And I really think that Energy Transfer will continue to do very well, but there is that political risk to it. There is the risk that the debt could be unmanageable for the company or that the dividend isn't sustainable because they have suspended the dividend in the past. That's something a lot of people are not talking about with Energy Transfers, that the dividend was suspended in the past and lowered because it was higher before. A lot of problems with COVID that caused the stock to get into a lot of trouble. Now Energy Transfer is in a lot better shape. I had bought it when it was just kind of coming out of that, and it was coming out of those that negative sentiment. And again, I had bought it on Ukraine, Russia, and that was smart because natural gas was in demand because I believe there wasn't enough natural gas in Europe. Energy Transfer, I think, is a very strong business. I think that it's more likely than not, and again, I'm not a financial advisor here. None of this is financial advice, but I think that it's more likely than not that there is some alpha here and that over the long term, this is probably undervalued, especially with a 52-week high at 21.45. I think for a 7.81% yield, it's a pretty good opportunity. But again, I don't think it's worth having to file that tax form because I'm lazy and I just don't want to deal with it. And I made a lot of money off of Energy Transfer, so I feel like I don't want to re-enter, and I feel like I have a good story with Energy Transfer. Walked away with about $5,500 in my pocket that I didn't have when I started. Overall, the company was awesome to me. Some of my best YouTube videos are Energy Transfer. Why get in now when it potentially could drop? And I haven't been paying attention to this whole sector for a very long time. And this sector did consume a lot of my time. Like, I was researching this a lot. I really got into the pipelines and trying to figure out which pipeline was the most valuable. But I just ended up going with Energy Transfer because I wanted the dividend, just to be honest with you. But my philosophy on that has changed a little bit. But yeah, this stock, I remember when it was in the $8 range, and I could have bought a lot more This and then Palantir. I remember when I was buying Palantir shares for $9 a share. I didn't hold on to mine. I sold at like 30. I made a good profit, but man, to hold on for that long. I mean, I'm glad I sold out of my energy transfer. I sold out in the 20s, I think. Or maybe right at 19 or 18, somewhere in that range. It definitely did not sell at 17 or below that. Anything there. Maybe in the 18 or 19 range. Yeah, energy transfer's fallen a lot. I think that it's probably undervalued here. This is just my kind of unprofessional little rant about energy transfer and if I thought the shares were undervalued. I think it probably is. 58 billion seems like a pretty low market cap for what you're getting in terms of those physical assets that are in the ground. And here's the other thing too. You're probably going to get a lot of the regulations being lifted by this administration because this administration um, isn't as concerned with the environmental things because they want to break down zoning regulations and things like that. And that's something that you can count on with energy transfer being able to grow. So that's something to be able to look out for in energy transfer. I really think that it is probably undervalued, but again, that form too much of a pain in my ass. I don't want to do it. I don't want to deal with it. If you want to, it's not really that hard. It's just another thing I have to deal with, and I already made money off of it, so I feel really good about it.